Hi, so I'm here with Adele, and Adele is the founder, author, creative person behind Bold Existence. And so we're just going to have a conversation about where it started and how it came about. And this is a conversation that we're looking forward to having together. And so Adele, tell us where the idea came from, where the idea of Bold Existence, the first seed of it happened.
The first seed of Bold Existence. Well, Caroline, that takes me back. I was basically doing my veterinary corporate job. Yes. On my way driving to Dubbo. And when I was driving to Dubbo, I was listening to Kingdom Entrepreneur podcasts because I was training myself more in the business sort of field and all of that. Right. And they did this interview with a lady, and she said, I never thought of starting my own business, but then God called me to start my own business. Wow. And I kind of giggled because I never, ever wanted my own business. Never dreamed of having my own business. I was very happy in the vet clinic, just being paid, doing my job. And the Holy Spirit just said to me, but what if I call you to start a business? Wow. And I was like, please don't make me start a business. Anyway, months later, the Lord woke me up. And it was about 3 a.m. in the morning. I think it was about 3 a.m. And I woke up with such an exhilarated thrill in my spirit and excitement about health and fitness. So the Lord made me do a personal training qualification while I was being a vet. And I thought it was just going to be a hobby for me to train myself in health and fitness. But anyway, when he woke me up that morning, he just put this major sense in my spirit to start a health and fitness business. Yeah. And I was like, Lord, what's happening here? And he's like, I want you to start a business. And no, I didn't know anything about starting a business. And I was like, Lord, okay, well, I don't even know what you want me to do. Where am I going? All of that. Yeah. And I was, okay, sure. And I'm like, what are we going to call this business? Now, the funny thing is, when I was doing my personal training qualification, one of the assignments from the course, you had to create a fake business.
Oh, so you already had to do the exercise. That's cool.
I already had to do that.
Yeah.
And when I was doing that assignment, I said to the Lord, well, Lord, if you called me to do this, then you give me the name for the fake business. And he said, Bold Existence. And I kind of giggled at him at that time. Love it. And I said to him, you're going to test me on this word, aren't you? Bold Existence. And he was like, yep. So fast forward a few years later, he said to me, I already gave you that name a few years ago. Yeah. And I want you to register the business as Bold Existence. Right. That was my response. I was like, right, Lord.
Here we go.
Gold. Yeah. And I said to the Lord, all right, well, I just want to finish a project that I'm doing with this current company. And the Lord said, no, I need you to quit now. And I need you to move. Wow. I was a little bit delayed in obedience. And so the Lord lifted the grace. And I was like, Lord, I'm struggling to do my work. And he was like, well, it's because I told you to leave. So I quit my job. Left the project in the hand of a very good friend who then joined the company. So the Lord took care of that project. And I moved up to Port to start the business. Wow. Got it registered. And I said to the Lord, well, now I know a logo follows the name. But I've got no idea what kind of logo you want. As I was finishing up at my corporate job, one of the customer service ladies, she asked me, what's your favorite animal? And I said to her, an eagle. Now here's the funny thing, an eagle was not my favorite animal at that stage. It just came out of my mouth.
Oh, wow.
But her immediate, yeah, I know. It's like, he just puts the words in your mouth. Yeah. But her immediate response was, wow, that's powerful.
Right, which actually sums up everything that God is asking you to do.
Absolutely.
So cool. Yeah.
And so with the logo, he's like, you remember that? The eagle? I was like, right.
Brilliant. Yeah. That's so cool. Hence the logo, which we are both wearing. How good is that?
He designed it too, you know.
I love it. I love it. It's great.
I was sitting with him and I was like, Lord, what do you want? What font do you want for the name? What kind of eagle you want? And so I was just like playing with a few things. Yeah. Sent it into a graphic designer who came back, but the logo, the wings were close together. It didn't have the beak. It didn't have the eye. It kind of looked like a dove. I didn't know what the Lord wanted, so I just asked him, and he said, just add a beak like that, add the eye like that, split the wings. And this came out.
That's so good. And what it does, this, so explain to me, I think it's good for us all to hear actually, the bold existence. If you pull that apart, what does that actually mean to you? For you personally and also for the business?
Yeah, for me personally, it means walking boldly in faith, letting go of my expectations, letting go of my mindset for me personally, and just following the Lord. And it's the same with the business, being bold in the business, being willing to go not the normal way of doing business, but just how the Lord leads me to create products and services and be willing to chop and change when he says to, and not to get involved with my own natural thinking of how business should be, how sales should be, how marketing should be, and just leave it in his hands to do as he pleases.
Which actually is really bold, because often just in the natural realm, we have this thought out process that this is how it should look. But so actually what you're saying is, I'm going to let him be the one that determines how it should look.
Well, the Lord asked me one thing a few years ago. He said to me, Adele, what will you do if a recession comes now and all the businesses fall apart? Wow. Who are you going to rely on, and how are you going to get out of it?
Wow, that's huge.
It was huge. It was really a big thing for me. He asked me that with finances too. And he just said to me, who's the one who created everything? And are you going to trust me? Because I'm going to be your eyes and I know what's coming and what not. And so that really challenged me, because I mean, I've always been a person of progress, always like to be educated, study and all of that. And so for me to put that cap aside of all the knowledge, all the worldly wisdom of how businesses function, how people do things, it was really, really challenging. But I had to make a decision then and there. I can build my business the normal way based on people's advice and what's worked in the past. But if God is moving in a new way and he knows what's going to happen, then why not follow the one who actually gives the knowledge to people in the first place?
Absolutely. And save yourself the middle step.
Save myself the middle step. No, that does not mean that business is easy. That does not mean you get to have a smooth road and everything is just up, because, the Lord, he will challenge you. He will always take you further to grow more in your faith, more in trust and all of that. So he might do things that look way weird just to test to see if you will still follow him in that way. Yeah. So it's not always just sunny and stuff. You always have that, but there's just that security that you have in knowing that, well, if he calls you to something, he will provide and he will make it work.
Absolutely, because it's his idea.
Because it's his idea. Yeah. And he actually shared something powerfully to me recently, which really I already know, but just the way he worded it, it puts things in such a different perspective. He just said to me, if I call you to work on something in the business and you follow me there, then I am obligated to provide for you there. Because if you seek me and my kingdom, all these things will be given to you besides. But if you go into human mentality and you think you need to go and create other things in the business, which I'm not asking you to create at that moment in time, because you think that might bring more success or make it prosper, then I'm not obligated to bless that.
Yeah. Actually, I have heard that recently, that if we stay in his will, because that's the place that he has taken us, that is his heart, is to bless, to provide, to do all the things. But if we head off outside of that, absolutely, he doesn't have any, we're not giving him permission to be part of that. So that's actually really important. That's really important. So what is your if you could summarize your heart for this business in a sentence, what would it be? If you had like 2 minutes with someone and you were like, this is what my business is about, what would you say?
What would I say?
On the spot here.
you are, well, for one sentence, I'm trying to think one sentence, it's not a lot of words. I'm like, I guess if I had to summarize it, I would say to soar boldly in the faith of the Lord.
Yeah, wow. I love that. That's great. In whatever sphere. So for you in this sphere, I know that for you personally, this is what God has asked you to do, but I believe you carry that and would release that over other people in the sphere they've been called into as well. So, but how great that you can actually summarize it like that. That's amazing. How good is that? That's very, very cool.
Thank you, Lord, for words. Yeah, summarize in one sentence.
I love it. So let me ask you this. How do you see this business expanding God's kingdom? And you are a follower of Jesus. You're a disciple. Yeah. And he has given you this to carry. How do you see that this business is influencing the world for the kingdom of God?
Like, where is it going, you mean?
Yeah.
Very interesting question. I don't know.
Okay, great answer.
It's like with Abraham, go to land I will show you.
Yeah.
Where am I going, Lord?
Yeah.
He said to me something, woke me up in the night. I was having a dream, I was walking on a beach, and I literally woke up from his voice, and he just said to me, I'm going to take you by ways you have not known. Remain in me and you will be safe.
That's so good. That's beautiful.
And that has anchored me throughout this whole journey. It sounds weird for a business owner to say, I have no idea where this business is going. But for me, it's actually faith, because I don't know. I want to be ready in that place. So if the Lord says to me, go and do the YouTube channel with prophetic messages, I want to do that. If he then says to me, I want you to stop doing that, I need you over here, then I want to be flexible in that.
Yeah.
Because I've usually had my own visions and my own ideas about things, and I found that sometimes would hinder what the Lord wanted to do.
Yeah, that's so good actually.
Yeah.
So good.
I would sometimes talk myself out of it, you know.
Let me ask you this, what cost is there for you? Because in the realness of it, there is when we are asked to carry something, asked to do something, there is a cost involved in doing that. So could you share with us what the cost of following hard and living a bold existence life, what the cost of that is?
Honestly, it cost me everything. It cost me job stability. It cost me normal financial money regular coming in. It stopped me from having the normal natural things that I used to have. You know, there was a cost to letting go of friendships, cost of family coming up against me when I started the journey because they did not understand what the Lord was calling me to. It just literally, the Lord asked me for everything, everything from relationships, finance, my job, and he took me through some very, very, a wilderness season, which I did release my testimony on that, and I'll put the link down if you guys want to have a look at it and listen to it, because it's a bit longer than this video. But it cost me everything, and he asked me to not work for like a year as well while he was just preparing me. And it was challenging because I've had times of poverty. I had times where I literally had nothing in the bank and I had to rely on him to provide for me for food. And he even in that said to me to not even ask people for money because he wanted me to learn to trust him. And it was so hard, I can't even explain. Really, like there's no words. I pretty much lost everything. But if I would have to do it again, I would. Because losing everything, I gained everything.
That's a really important word to hear, because, and I know some of Adele's story and some of those moments there where you're really on the edge. You're really on the edge. And yet your ability to trust God in that space, I think a lot of us don't, he potentially doesn't ask us to get to that point. And it's good for us to ask ourselves a question, is that because he doesn't see the faith in us? I don't know. But the fact that you have trusted him with everything is massive. And I feel like, I feel like he's doing something in this, in whatever this is going to be and can continue to be. that's actually going to release people from all sorts of bondage and frustration and a whole bunch of stuff. I'm going into prophetic here.
Well, you can if you want. Not going to stop it. If the Lord flows, He flows.
So I think that I'm just going to pause for a minute. Yeah, I feel like what it has cost you is testimony to His goodness.
Yeah.
And the growth in you is massive.
Yeah.
Massive. And so people are going to draw from that. People are going to draw from that. If you, I love that you said if you had to do it again, you wouldn't change anything. That is amazing, because a lot of people come through a journey in, whether they're just starting their own business in the natural, but come through a journey and they think, oh, I would have done that differently. I know I've said that myself with certain things. I think often that comes out of a space of realizing the growth in ourselves and wanting to be more like Jesus.
Oh, yeah.
Right? We go, oh, if only I had done that, I would have been operating more like Jesus. But I love that you actually say that you wouldn't change anything because you see the growth, you see what God has been doing in that whole process, and you're embracing that.
Through the mistakes, through the failures, all of that, I used to beat myself up so much about making mistakes, especially when it involved Him or following Him or something like that.
Yeah.
And He just said to me one day, He's like, Adele, I want you to start embracing mistakes. And I was like, Lord, no, but I don't want to make mistakes. And He said, but how else are you going to know what's the better way unless I allow you to make mistakes? And He's like, I still got you. I'll still work it out for the good. He's just like, learn the tools and the keys through that season. Stop being perfectionistic, because you cannot be perfectionistic. He called me once, he's like, my idealistic daughter. I'm like, yes, Lord, I know. I kind of like just laughed a little bit. And also my overachieving daughter. I'm like, yes, Lord. He had to teach her to slow down and relax so much about that. But I think as you just walk with Him, you learn that the failures, the hardships, weaknesses, strengths, the winnings, all of that is just the part of Him setting you up for success. Because if you look at what life is all about, it's not about having a business. It's not about having financial success. It's not about having your name out there. It's really all just about Him and stewarding what He gives you. And I always said to the Lord, God, I want to get to my destiny and purpose as quickly as possible. I don't want to go around the same mountains. And, you know, people look at me now and they think I'm bold, but let me tell you, I was not bold. I was a coward, really, and shy. And it was the hardest thing for me.
Wow.
But
That's huge. Because
I made that commitment, I didn't want to waste time, because there's no time to waste on this earth. And I always just say to the Lord, God, every year, so this is true story, I don't know why I say that. Every year I would say to the Lord, let me impact more people this year than I did the year before. And He said, okay. And so each year I would get a few more. And then when He started to boom this through the YouTube channel, it was so unexpected as well. It was like literally one day from going a few views to boom, thousands. And I looked at it, I was like, Lord, this is crazy. But testimonies that came through from Him just impacting people through His words, that was amazing. That was incredible, because it had nothing to do with me. He just simply asked me to do what He wanted me to do, say what He wanted me to say, and He did the work, you know. And I think that's the important part, is to realize what He gives you, whether it is just your 2 fish and 5 loaves. He's the one that will multiply it and feed the 5,000. And He just asks us for availability. The one that was sitting with Him, and I was getting frustrated at one point with the business. I was like, but God, you know I'm your overachiever. You know I want this business to succeed and boom and grow and, you know, get more buildings, all these kinds of stuff, and just be successful and be able to have more finances to bless more wherever I go. And He said to me, Adele, I don't need your finances. I own 1,000 cattle on a hill. I can put money in fish's mouths. He's like, I don't need your money. What I need is your availability. That is what I need in the earth, is people who are willing to go the distance
Yeah.
and put aside their own flesh, their own desires for my kingdom. And let me tell you, that's the best decision I've ever made, because I feel more alive now than I ever did the worldly way. And a lot of people won't agree with me. I've been ridiculed a lot for being irresponsible or being unwise in not going the way of the world. But again, like the Lord said to me, what if a recession comes? What am I going to trust then? You know, if I build all these things and I have this experience, He can take it away like that. And He can shut doors for you. No matter where you want to apply for work, no matter how great your resume is, if He doesn't want you to go somewhere like Jonah, He'll send a whale.
Yes.
So it's just like, okay, God, it's all yours. Whatever you want.
That's so good. That's actually great. And you know what? I want to ask you a question about, because I think it kind of relates to that. We hear about the word success. Okay, were you successful in your job application? Were you successful in, I don't know, I'm trying to think of what words you can be successful in, but success is a word we use a lot, and measuring success, I think that can throw a lot of people, business people or just people that are just doing life. They feel like they haven't achieved a certain thing because they're told this is what success looks like. What would you say to people who are wanting to be successful? What would you say your measurement of success is?
That's great, because I don't even need to ask that. The Lord gave me the answer.
Okay, great.
Because He asked me that question too. He's like, what's my idea of success?
Yeah.
And it was in the worldly ways. And He said to me, let me give you my definition of success. I was like, okay, Lord.
Yep.
He said, my definition of success is faithfulness. And my definition of success is relevance. It's like, I'd rather you be relevant and faithful than you having finance, name out there, all of that. Because to me, that is success, your faithfulness in me.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah. How great is that? Faithfulness and relevance. I love it. Yeah. And that actually takes pressure off, right? It takes the pressure off, because it's about Him building what He's building.
Absolutely. I mean, as you walk the journey with Him, you get your little squirmy moments, you know, when He takes you to the line there and you're like, oh, Lord, what next? You sometimes get that moment. But yeah, no, it does take that pressure off, because it's just like, well, God, I just do what you tell me to do. And so then I'm just expecting, and it's not a wrong thing to say that I expect you to do what you say you're going to do. Yeah. I don't, I expect you to come through, because that's your word. And I think sometimes we shy away and try and make up excuses, but I think the Lord wants us to hold Him to His word. Absolutely. You know, and so it's like, well, God, if there's a different way, then show me. Yeah. If you want me to go and do that, or, you know, then I will. So
that's so great. So you touched on the fact that the Lord asked you to move into this season, leaving behind your vet work and do the personal training. It's quite a journey, and you didn't know what was coming. How did you hang in there, knowing that you were going to be creating something, being asked to do something? I think there's a lot of people watching that may be starting business, doing something they're not sure how long it's going to take. Yeah. How would you encourage someone in the journey of hanging in while the process was happening?
Well, that in itself is a journey. It wasn't easy. But I think one of the things that helped me was reflecting on the dreams and desires that the Lord gave me throughout my life. Yeah. And He took me back to when I was 10 years old. That was before I kind of walked away from Him and then came back to Him. But when I was 10 years old, He reminded me that I prayed to Him a prayer to say to Him, God, one day I want to build you a church or buy you a church, something with ministry. Yeah. And I wanted it to be thousands. Yeah. That was a dream of a 10-year-old. And then I lost that kind of dream, but He brought me back to that. And 12 years ago, I just said to Him, I just want to do your kingdom work, and I love coaching people and working with them. So then you fast forward that when I was in my vet corporate world and doing that business, and I was in a moment, having a very dark moment there, just saying to the Lord, I'm in this place. I never wanted to be in the vet corporate setting. I'm not feeling like I'm doing anything for you, but I don't know what this looks like. I need you to show me, or you need to create a job for me. Yeah, that's so good. And that's when He called me. And so I think that helped me in the dark moments of just letting him refine, purify, and lead me all these ways, just to reflect back on words and seeds that he has planted in my heart. And before everything boomed, I literally just moved to Port, and a prophet spoke, and he said that my testimony will reach around the world. So that was really the first prophetic word as such that I can really say someone spoke over my life, in my whole life, and I held on to that. And so as I was going through it, I was just holding on to all these promises. And so you're talking about like from 10 years old, we're talking about many years. And so it's not just something that happened overnight. But then as I took these steps, during that hard season where the Lord just said to me, I want you to stop, and I want you to work on the business, and I want you to go and do any job. I need you to sit with me day and night to just be refined. So that was like a whole year of a pause. But I knew I had to just let him do what he wanted, because for me, again, if you do not step, if you do not leap, how are you going to know?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't want to live in regrets. And God always leads us by faith. He never says, this is what it's going to be, and then you end up. He's like, this is an idea. This is a vision. I'm just going to lead you. So you never really know how it's going to work out, but you're just going to have to be like, well, if I want to get that promise, I need to jump. Otherwise you'll be like the Israelites and then not enter your promised land. Exactly. Not that I'm saying there's not grace. There's always grace, but God asks us for obedience. And I mean, if I didn't follow him on that journey, allow the refining, I would mess it up. I'm honest with you. I was not prepared spiritually for it. Now I can look back and see that. But so he always has his way of doing it.
And what I love that you touched on in the process, in the journey, he is continuing to be faithful to us, continuing to teach us, to grow. And so I think that if there's anybody watching, just this is a great testimony to God's goodness and also his faithfulness. If he gives you something to do, he will be with you. And he's asking you to trust him. And I agree about the jumping. I think sometimes you just cannot get from here to here without the jump. And so be encouraged that Adele's testimony says that God can jump with you, and that in the journey he's going to teach you to be more like him.
He's just bringing a reminder to me now from a vision he once shared with me. He showed me, because I used to get so caught up about, am I hearing right, am I not, oh Lord, before he kind of helped me through all of that. And he gave me this picture of a little girl who went and she eavesdropped while her daddy was speaking to someone in a room. And she heard him say that he wanted a salad. So the little girl, all excited, she went to the kitchen, she made a salad, and of course she's a little girl, so she makes a complete mess. She takes it, she knocks on the door, she takes it to her daddy, and she shows him the salad. And he said to her, what is this? She said, oh, I just overheard that you wanted a salad. And the dad just smiled, because he was actually telling the person he wanted a steak, not a salad, but she heard salad instead of steak. So she went and made him a salad. And so now the whole kitchen is like full of, just like, all the vegetable, all the salad mess. And the dad just smiled and he said to her, thank you, my love. And he didn't tell her that he asked for a steak. He just said, thank you, my love. And then he went and he helped her to clean up the mess. And the Lord said to me, that is exactly the same with him. Even if you do hear wrong, he sees your heart, he sees your obedience, and he sees the motive behind it. And so even if you might get it a bit wrong, giving him a salad instead of a steak, he will come and help you clean up that mess if your heart is in alignment with him and just for him.
I love that. That's so good. How good is that? That's great encouragement. That's great encouragement.
That helped me a lot through this season too.
That's so good. That's so good. Well, Adele, thank you. Great interview. Great hearing your heart behind what you're doing, what God's asked you to do, how many people you're helping out there, coaching and training and recording videos that are helping people walk through seasons you've been through already. And so thank you. Amazing. Amazing.